realistically, yeah, despite this wave that you're feeling, realistically, what do you think your chances are of actually winning the governorship election here in Lagos?
We actually have the highest chance of winning.
But after having a kid, you know, I wanted to be a real house.
Hello everyone and welcome to Pulse 101. I am your host Ima Elijah, and with me today in the studio is the Deputy Governorship candidate, Labour Party, Lagos, Princess Abiodun Islamiyat Oyefusi. Welcome to the studio, ma.
Good morning, Ima. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. It's good to be here.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. So I want us to just, dive into it, because I know that you've been campaigning, and literally from here you are going back to the streets. So I'm just going to take too much of your time. So we're discussing earlier, and I told you that your political history is known. As of this time last year, I saw you last year speaking about how Lagos State needs or is ready for a female governor. And at the time you were speaking under the PDP umbrella. And as of today, you are the Labour Party deputy candidate. You're the running mate to Badebo Road Viva. And I wonder, how was that switch from PDP to Labour Party in just a very short time? That was probably between July and September, that whole thing happened. And then you rose so fast in the Labour Party to be where you are today. What made you leave the PDP, and how did you rise so fast in the Labour Party?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. For me, women's development, the girl child, equality, women's advancement is a priority. I campaign a lot for this. I campaign that we must get our 35% affirmative, proportional representative at all levels, from the state to local government to civil service. Anywhere you find government institution, you find the public, you must give women their equality and their right, including the people with disability. And before I join a party, I don't follow anybody into a party. I read their manifesto, what they stand for, what they're trying to achieve. Then I align myself with that, if it works for where I'm going, and I'm myself. So that's what, initially when I started in politics in Nigeria, PDP, the manifesto, you need to read it. The hymn, and it was fantastic. That is what I wanted to. And then there's a place that I see that I can grow my ambition and help women to develop and achieve for the girl child to look for something to look forward to. But unfortunately, I was the Lagos East senatorial candidate in 2019, and literally won the election, but the result that was declared was like 40% to 50% for somebody that has been in assembly for almost 9 years, the late Oshinawo. But what I realized that PDP took a turn, and the women became, you look at the National Working Committee, only one woman. They would even have taken that position from us if it wasn't. It has to be the national woman leader, only one woman. And we have the deputy. The ESCO was just, I look at that and I'm like, where is this party going? And in this period that we are advocating for that the 35% must be implemented by NAS, by Nigeria, because it's a United Nations resolution. And Nigeria is the only one that is lacking. You don't sign up to a resolution and you can't come back to the country and turn it into domestic laws. It's not right. So we were really campaigning for it. All the stage, the protesters, the National Assembly, I was there. We were campaigning for it. So to now see PDP do that, it just broke me. It wasn't going anywhere. And then and they were seeming to drift away from the manifesto that I signed up for. So I had to find a place where I felt that we can achieve, and where I felt that it lined up with my career. And that's why I go from PDP to Labour. I've never left PDP, regardless of what is taken. I've always tried to align. I don't believe in political prostitution.
Thank you so much for that. So as regards young people, you said that you guys have, a lot of plans for young people. And I mean, the stats as well as I do, that Lagos State is mostly populated with young people. And if Lagos is populated with young people, it's definitely like the pop culture capital of the nation, of even West Africa. Young people come in here, you know, try to find greener pastures and all of that, try to build themselves up in different aspects of life. But there's a persistent problem that is common. People are always complaining online everywhere, which is the high cost, the unbearable cost of living in Lagos. So how would your administration address that so as to make Lagos comfortable enough for young people to come here, add to the workforce, add to the economy, and grow the state?
You see, the beauty about Nigeria, which it's a plus and can also be a negative, but for us it's a plus, is that the population, we have the largest population in Africa. And that population, 65%, if I'm correct, it's young people. We have huge number. You look at the electorate register, for example, the number of people that have registered in this, that are going to do this election, the percentage of young people is running into the 70s. We're talking 74%. So literally the young people are going to determine who is going to rule Nigeria. So it is is absolutely necessary that we create a conducive environment for young people to grow. We support them with all sorts of things, because not everybody is going to be doctors, they're not going to be nurses or teachers or lawyers. But what we do not want people to do with our young people is turn them into agberus. Is make them jobless. Is make them graduate and 7 years they don't know what to do. And we have to take all that out. We have to streamline our government that makes it very easy for accessibility, very easy to do business, very easy to access training, to access education, very easy to be self-employed as a young person, and support for that young person. For when that self-employed is there, they can access all the support they want. So we need to change the dynamics of our government is wrong. We take it from being a government of one person, of government of no vision, to good governance, to rebuild all our institutions. Because in nations that the institution is destroyed, that nation is in serious trouble. This is what is happening in Nigeria. Because because with destruction of institution, you don't have a business environment. You don't have an environment that grows people, that grows services, because nobody can access anything. And nothing works for anybody. The laws doesn't work for you. The education system doesn't work for you. The infrastructure doesn't work. The health doesn't work for you. So all those institutions that make a nation is being destroyed. So for us to help these young people, we must build this nation. Then we must build an environment where young people, there's training schemes, there's support schemes, there's all sorts of schemes that these young people, when they travel, they see overseas and they can access easily overseas. We must be able to create that environment for them. There is no point in going to university and graduating for 4 or 5 years. You don't even get one interview. You have to apply for thousands of places. You see, there are technical skills that even when you go to university, that you go back and train, and the technical skills, and those are not there in our.
So let me cut you there a little bit. So, in terms of saying that you guys want to do all these things for young people, what are the practical steps you're actually going to take in making sure, like for instance, making the environment conducive? What policies are you guys going to push to help? Because Lagos is like our little Silicon Valley here in Africa, or in Nigeria, if I must say, because you have a lot of tech companies based here, and these tech companies are growing, they are providing real services, but the policies that govern them sometimes could be actually choking for them. So what are the practical steps you would take in making sure that the environment is conducive for them? Environment is also conducive in terms of how they can pay their rent affordably and all of that, where they can stay, safety, security, there's wrongful profiling, there's still police brutality. There are all these problems that young people are still facing. So practically, what would you do? What policies will you put in place to ensure that these environments or these things are good enough for them to come here, or comfortable enough at least for them to stay and grow and help Lagos as well grow?
Okay. I'll start with an example. Take, for example, housing. It is a crazy policy where people are being asked to pay 1 year's rent in advance. They don't get their salary 1 year in advance. They get their salary monthly. So the policies, there must be government policies, and there must be law that stops all that. People must be able to pay their rent monthly. Then we have an housing scheme, a low-cost housing scheme to support people. Who can access it? Nobody can access it. That housing scheme died with Jakonde. When he left government, that was when Jakonde built those low-cost housing schemes. That was the time when the low-cost income people felt they could access government housing. You saw them in that housing. But now, nobody can access it. They built it, and before you get there, it's been sold it's been sold. And some of them stand out empty. For you to even get your name on the list, you have to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. All those are bureaucracies and are policies that don't work. That's why I'm saying that when you destroy those institutions that implement those policies, that makes accessibility easy, you have destroyed the fabric of the nation. You cannot destroy civil service. Civil service is like barrack. Government goes, but the civil service remain. They must be able to receive those government, look at their manifesto, and make sure that they fit in with the civil service policies. The civil service are the fabrics, they're the barracks of a nation. I must be able to go to Allstars or go to any civil service and do anything without knowing anybody. And without having to take me 1 year to get result or bribe my way through all these things. I must know where are government contracts. We have public bureau services. They are supposed to be dealing with these contracts. Every single contract that government issues out, anybody must be able to go on the system and bid for a contract and apply for a contract. They don't have to know anybody. As long as they meet the specification, those are the roles of the civil servants. But we have taken it away and make it the roles of politicians. So when you don't, those are what you call conducive environment and good governance. When you don't have that, then the other thing is that the young people take for example in Ikorodu, they don't need to go to Allstars to get service from Ikorodu. Allstars should be at Ikorodu. That's what the local government is. When you take that service, that power away from local government, you take that autonomy away from them, they cannot service close to the community. And the young people in that community cannot access anything. That's why you see everybody run to Allstars. Then when you have industries like the Silicon Valley, like the tech industry, there must be special provision for them. You cannot draw your tax, multi-tax them. That they don't provide the employment services, the opportunity that is there. Doing business in Nigeria is very expensive. Very, very expensive. The business environment is not conducive. It's either it breaks you or you break it. You can't be in the middle. You never break it. To break it, you have to bow to it. So it's all those things that we're going to look at. And we're going to bring those policies that makes those investments to come into Lagos State and ease of the return on their investment, make them to function effectively with ease, seamlessly, that brings us user-friendly services back into government, that bring that pride back into our institution. Take the law, for example. Have you been to some of these courts? Have you been inside some of these courts? Even the judges are suffering. You saw recently the whole system is been destroyed. You have problem in the legal service, you have problem in the court service. So how do you take a case to court and you're still in that court for 10 years? Some people die before their cases are even heard. So all those services that was left for us and that we're supposed to build on is been teared down. And then it's been difficult for the young people. That's why you see a young person in the UK or in the US, instantly they have an idea. They know where to go. They go for grants. They go for support. They know how to reach. They see all these, angel investors. They know where to access information. But there's nothing like that in Nigeria. You have to know your brother, your uncle has to know somebody that knows somebody, or you have to find a family. All those things are what makes services and young people not grow. That created a lot of problem for our young people, that they feel that they have to now join the culture of Agbero and they turn to political talks.
Okay, well, so I want to go back because you're speaking like you guys have, all these plans laid out and all of that. And you spoke about like your proprietor's antecedents and, what he's done for the youth and what he plans to do for the youth. I also want to know about you a little bit. what ways have you served Lagos? Are there certain projects we can tie to your name? Are there certain things that we can actually go and research and find out that, okay, this is how this woman has served Lagos in time past? Or even certain achievements of your proprietor as well that you can highlight that we can actually tie to say, okay, this is what this person has done, so we can trust that what they are saying now, they will be able to deliver.
Okay, that's a very good question. But I'm going to throw it back at you. What way did Jakonde serve Lagos before he was made governor? And that's the best governor Lagos State ever had. It's what is the dreams and the vision and the knowledge of how you are going to achieve it, the plans, that makes you a good leader. You have to have a laid plan, and you surround yourself with the people that can help you implement that plan, and you build on your institution. I could serve. My father was the late Ayogbonre of Ikorodu.
Yeah, because I see your name, Princess. I was going to ask, is that your name or an actual title?
It's my title. My father was the late Ayogbonre of Ikorodu, so I'm one of his children. So I'm a real princess. So he became a king at the age of 39. Ikorodu was the less population, maybe under 100. You could walk the length and breadth of Ikorodu. And he had a vision. And he said, I'm going to grow this. It's my responsibility, because with great power comes great responsibility. It didn't come from a family of wealthy, but our compound name, Ogunsanya, is well-known name. So he had a vision for Ikorodu. So at the age of 39, when he became a king, anything that is coming to Lagos State, he grabs it for Ikorodu. Actually, I have free land, ITT, Ragulis Water, PZ, Lucky Viber, be naming it, they're all at Ikorodu. He grabs it, take nothing from them. And when each government that has been in power, they come to him and said, we need your children to be commissioner. My father looked at the man and said, I don't have any children that wants to be commissioner. You see that commissionership position, how many people can he employ in Ikorodu? If it's 100 position, give it to me, I'll give it to my people. And that's why you will always find Ikorodu people at the top of civil servants in Lagos State, in any other institution. You find them in federal. He grabs them and he says, I'm here to serve my people. If I develop my people, I develop my town, then I have achieved the purpose that I'm here. I'm here to serve. He didn't build any industry in Ikorodu before he started, but he knows what his responsibilities are. He had the compassion and the belief to develop his nation. Okay. And I was Lagos East Senate in 2019. We've done a lot in terms of supporting individuals, supporting the community. We've done a lot I've done a lot within my capacity of supporting a lot of we had a foundation, Soul Lifters Foundation, and we support a lot of people through that. We've advocated for women's rights. We support the Muslim community. So if you asking me, have I built industries? Give me the opportunity and you see that I can build a bigger industry than what you are, because I come from a family that serve people and they know how to build. My principal, architect Gbadebo, he's done a lot. He was at the forefront of Allstars. He was one of the very first people that marched on Senate, demanding for a change in environment and some of the what's it called, food modification and all that. So he was the very first people that led that, and he's done a lot of buildings and development, a lot of plans in this Lagos State. He's worked in a lot of big projects in this Lagos State. So we had the vision, and he was the Lagos East senatorial candidate, Lagos West senatorial candidate, the 10 local government, the largest of all the senatorial candidates, out of the senatorial district. In 2019, he was the youngest senator. He was the youngest senatorial candidate to run in Lagos State. And the difference between his cause and that of somebody that has been there for 3 times, Yayi, was less than 25%, 25,000. Was less than 25,000. So they know, the thing is that you have to have a vision that people can measure you by. that can relate with you. You have to know your community, know what is lacking in that community. We live in our community. I don't live in Banana Island. I don't live in, I live at Ikorodu. So I know Lagos East. I know what is wrong with Ikorodu. And I've been in government. I've helped to build a lot of governance framework because I have a legal background. I studied law and I had an MBA. Governance framework for a lot of government. Kent County Council, one of the largest regions in the United Kingdom, London Borough of Islington, public services for people with disability, for the women, for how to run your government, build their framework. So I come from that background. So I know what government and local government should be running like, and what institutions should be running like. Because you must have heard, that's why we run overseas. Because you can simply go to local authority in your distress if you're homeless and seek services and you get it. I dare you to do that in Lagos State. You can see those services are there, those institutions are there to help people on the low income, to help the citizens that are paying their tax. We pay a lot of tax in Lagos State. And Lagos State earn a lot of money. The last year they declared 36 billion a month. 36 billion, not a year, a month. That's what they earn in IGR. This year they're declaring about 40-something billion. And then they get the 15 billion from the state. So Lagos State should not be like this.
Your campaign, the Labour Party campaign for Lagos State, we have, the APC, which is the ruling party, and of course the main opposition, which is the PDP. And Lagos is denoted as, that's the APC state. It's like a write-off, like, oh yeah, APC, that's APC state because of the repeated wins that APC has had. What makes your campaign so different from the APC and the PDP, and even the ADC, which has also risen? Now we have really four prominent parties in Lagos State that people are actually all paying attention to, not necessarily equally, but almost around the same level of attention. What makes you and your principal, Gbadebo Rhodes, stand out so differently from the rest of the other parties? I'll
answer that in two stages. What makes us stand out is that we are the party of the young people. We are the youngest governor with the manifesto that the young people relates to. Our manifesto is the easiest to understand. We're doing this in housing, we're doing this in education, we're doing this. It's there. Even the market women, when we give it to them, they understand it. We relate to the young people. We are from this generation. If you look at the people that are contesting, they're all from, we relate to the young people. We've been part of the young people and we've grown with them. So we relate to them, we talk to them. And most importantly, what gives us an edge over every other party is that this electorate, this election 2023, the register is 75% young people. And that gives us an edge over it. And what also gives us an edge is we are obedient. The movement, the obedient movement is moving.
Let me even get to that. The wave of, to be honest, I actually do credit the rise of your party here in Lagos to the wave that has flown from the presidential campaign with Peter Obi in the Labour Party. But now I want to actually realistically, it's a wave that everybody would have expected that wave would flow down to a lot of various states. We now see LP in different states popping up, and people are now visually the party is now seen. People now see the party and actually now consider, okay, this is the party that maybe we should try voting for or something. So what realistically, despite this wave that you are feeling, realistically, what do you think your chances are of actually winning the governorship election here in Lagos?
We actually have the highest chance of winning. If you look at, there's a poll that is conducted right now, says Nigerian Decide.
Who conducts? Okay. By what platform exactly?
It's conducted by, I think it's the Oxford. They're doing the presidential, all of right to the assembly. It's a very well-known poll. They do it. They have done it for all UK, US. They have done it in Nigeria before, and they are always predicted right. If you look at, it's called Nigerian Decide. isn't it? And you go, people with PVC, or you go there, you vote. Lagosian goes there, they vote. You vote and you decide who you want to be the next governor. It's not just online. I've seen people that called me when the poll rose. They were not even social media, they were not online. They were like 50-something, 70. Say, there's this poll I saw, because it's run by international company, that wow, you can. We have, my principal architect, Badebo, is on 5,700 something. Someone is on 4,100. That's how different the gap is. So we are because we have run this rate before, they have seen our manifesto in 2019, and because we align with what our president is saying, we come from the same background. We know his vision, and that vision is what vision is translated down to us in Lagos State, and it aligns with what we have to do. So
you believe that people are going to vote for you because they are also trying to make sure that both presidents and then governorship aligns in terms of the vision?
It's part of it, but that's not what we're trying to credit. We are selling our vision. We are selling the capability of our governor, what he can achieve and what his vision is. And that vision aligns with his principal's vision, which is prison. So that will help together. But I want to answer the question of APC being institution, they own Lagos. You see, the problem we have with the democracy is that when you have a multi-party democracy and one party has ruled a state for 23 years, when you have 23 years of a single party, you have lack of accountability, lack of regulation, institution destruction, because they will start to build that institution to fit their purpose. And then you have gone into a culture of winner takes all. APC from councillor all the way to the state. What are they going to work for? They're not going to work for the people. They're going to work for their party, so they can continue to stay in power. And I've never seen that in any democracy. You don't have institution that regulates this thing. They regulate themselves because there's no opposition. There's nobody holding them accountable. Look at the assembly, in state assembly in Anausa, whole APC, not a single opposition. That doesn't happen anywhere. That does not, I've not seen that in any democracy. Even the fathers of democracy, the USA, you have the Senate run by majority is Republican. You have the House, majority is Democrat. It's called check and balances. When you don't have check and balances, you don't have accountability, you have destroyed the nation. When the opposition voice is being silent, you have destroyed the nation. There is never going to be, you're going to have tyranny. And that's what we have right now. And that we as a nation, we are responsible for this. Lagosians are responsible for this. And it is time that we rewrite these things for the future of our children. Even when you have parliamentary system, look at UK, for example. The Prime Minister is conservative. The whole House of Commons is spread independent. The European Parliament is the same. It's called check and balances. There must be check and balances. We don't have that in Lagos State. And when you suppress opposition through intimidation, you have destroyed Lagos State. Because nobody is regulating anything. Nobody is checking what government is doing.
And I'm going to come to that also. Speaking about suppressing opposition, there has been allegations that there's been tearing down of campaign posters of the Labour Party, of the PDP as well. So basically, these allegations are that the APC, which is probably the ruling party, is probably sponsoring the tearing down of all other oppositions in the state. What's your take on that?
I don't know who is sponsoring what, but I know that we have been prevented from being able to advertise in any billboard. The moment you make Labour Party, they tell you they can't give you that. You can't advertise. So we're having to do another way. All our posters, the moment we're putting it up, they're tearing it. To the point that we had to cry out. Is that bad? They're tearing, they just don't want. But then I said to my principal, when you go to war, you don't go to war with the same machine gun or weapon that your opponent is got. It's going to destroy you. You come to war with them as a shock. So they're in shock now of what Labour is achieving. They don't know where we're coming from. They don't know. Look, for example, the 4th of October, when they declare campaign has started, they blocked us from putting anything on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. But when they woke, the night before they put their billboard, APC, PDP, we were just laughing. When they woke up, they saw the structure. We, the people, are the structure of any political party. The people, you saw the flag boys, the flag youths, they lined that bridge with Labour Party. They couldn't believe it. And within a couple of weeks, they removed their billboard. So you have to come to them with a chalk. You go campaign with them. They were supposed to do a debate. They cancel it. They postpone it. When are we going to see a debate? Debate us on the issue. Let's talk about, let the young people hear from themselves what each party is bringing to the table, why you should vote for me, what I have for you, and why we need this change, and let people be able to decide for themselves. It's a civil right. It is our civil right. People must be able to exercise this civil right without fear, without intimidation, without bullying. And the civil rights must count. They must count. The electorate, the vote must count. The vote of the people must count. So all this bullying, tearing for me, I'm even shocked when I went into politics. I started seeing posters. I'm like, why are we postering the whole of Lagos State? The face, we have become graffiti, graffiti politics. But I understood that it is the culture. Yeah. You have to do it. But for us, I think we have to find a way of doing things better. What is the point of spending that millions on posters and then it's turned down? That million could have gone to do a lot of good for a lot of people.
How are you guys funding your own campaign?
We're funding our campaign through fundraising, through donation. Young people are, you see, people are being mobilized. People are mobilized without being mobilized, mobilizing without being mobilized. We saw people, these young people, I'm speechless sometimes. Yesterday, somebody came. The guy was only 35. He brought us thousands of t-shirts because they want that change. That movement is real. We have people doing billboards for us. The little billboards, you must have seen it on that little one that you see that we hang at eye level on the street. It was done by a young person, 3,000. Because they want that change. We can't continue the way that we have. So we've had funding, we've had donation, campaign material, funding, and others that come from the general public. We've had people go out to the market and start campaigning. The support group, they're doing fantastic job. They're doing, I must take back Naija, P2B support network. They are just going out there like, we want our Nigeria back. We want to wake the giant. We want a Nigeria that is for the future. And I said to them, remember President Buhari said something when they passed this bill, not too young to run. You know, he said to me, oh, please let me run second time. I don't know if it's real or not, then you can take over. And I don't know if it's real, but I read it somewhere. He said it, and it's coming to pass. They've given him the second time. Now the young people want their country back. And they're going everywhere. They go with last weekend to the market. They campaign for us. This that I'm wearing, this face cap, was donated by a woman, a Yoruba woman, thousands. That's how we're funding our campaign, because we know, the people know that it's time. We can't be, what are we giant of Africa for? Why do we have this young population? That young population of any nation is the power of that nation. They grow that way. Silicon Valley comes from young people. Facebook was young people. Twitter was young people. All these ideas were developed by young people. In Europe, an average man of 35 is already thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire. The CEO of managing of company or CEO of industries. And then in Nigeria, we have to wait till you're 60, 70 before your vision wake up. Me, I don't know. It's the young people that owns this nation as far as that, and they own this election, and they are the ones that have been funding us and supporting us and going out there campaigning for us, and we're doing our bit as well.
So my final question to you is, if Lagosians decide that, okay, really, this young people power decide to put you in office, I want you now to give us things that we can measure you by in your first 100 days in office. Tell us 3 things we should expect from you in your first 100 days in office.
The first thing we're going to deal with is this Agbero issue. We got to address that. It's not only affecting transporters, it's affecting the entire community. It's affecting us left, right. We've got to address that policy of that Agbero. The second thing is that we have to sign into law the 35%. It's only Lagos State. Lagos is a cosmopolitan state. States that are not as big as Lagos have signed that thing into law to give equality, not only to women, to people with disability. We have to give an environment for everybody to thrive and to flourish. We're bringing in that law. We're reviewing how the civil service, how things work. There are key points. That's why I said our manufacturers are very easy. It's very easy to understand. Good governance is at the back of it. It's the foundation of it. And how do we get this good governance? Because with the good governance, that enabling environment is going to be created for the young people to develop. And we're taking young people into training. There's pride. There's a lot of money in various skills. We cannot all be in Nollywood. We cannot all be musicians. But did you know Germany was built off the back of technical? That's where you see their products. They built their technical industries. And that's where their product and their manufacturing is first class. Our principle says we're taking Nigeria from consumption to production. And that's applicable to Lagos. Lagos, we're taking Alausa away from Alausa. From that Ikeja, we're bringing it to the community. There will be Alausa at every local government. So if you get to Badagry, they're so far from Alausa, sometimes they've even forgotten that they're Lagosian. We went to campaign inside Apapa. If you see this community, you will cry. I said when I was growing up, Apapa was, I want to go out Apapa Amusement Park. Apapa this. Those communities are so derogated and destroyed, you will cry. So we have to bring the services back to the people. We have to bring government back to the people. So there are key things that we will say we are going to implement quick. There's quick change, there's medium term, there's long term. And that is the way that we're set it. So those are the key things. And the other thing that is coming is housing. People are suffering with housing. We have to address that housing issue in Lagos State. And that is one of the things. And we have to bring policies that help people to gain access to housing easily, instantly, and without abusing the rights of the landlord, without taking away the landlord's. It's very important. But the landlord-tenant relationship must be, in synergy, must be equal, that both parties benefit from it. And then, come on, the last man, they are a law unto their own. So all those things that people we can change easily to help us ease Lagos State up, open Lagos State up. And we're going to bring it in the first 100 days.
Thank you so much, Ma. So now, the last but not the least, can you look in that camera and tell Lagosians how they can connect with you?
Lagosian, we are Labour Party. I want to appeal to you. This 2023 makes a lot of difference in Lagos State and in Nigeria. Nigeria is going through a period that it must change, or the next generation will suffer it. So I want to appeal to you to please, first of all, go and collect your PVC. It is your civic right. It is your duty to this nation. You have to vote. You have to collect your PVC. And they have made it a lot easier With the beaver system, your vote, we didn't say everything will be eliminated, though, but your vote, there's a chance that it will count, almost 80%, 85% chance that it will count. There's no manual counting. There's nobody carrying results from one ward to another.